Hi, everyone. Welcome back to AWS On Air. My name is Kunal Batra. I'm a senior developer advocate here at AWS. I'm joined by one of my colleagues, Kyle Lee. Kyle is another senior developer advocate here for mobile applications.
Hey, everybody.
And we have a pretty special guest here, Avinash from the AWS backup team. Avinash, you want to start off telling us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, hi Kunal. My name is Avinash. Thanks for having me here. I'm a senior product manager in AWS backup team. My job is to listen to customers and then convince our engineering team to build backup solutions that can help customers centralize and automate their backups.
That's great to hear, and this is a pretty important topic. But before we talk about what we're launching at reInvent, let's talk about AWS backup and backups in general, and tell our audience a little bit about it. Some of the benefits, obviously, for backups, but the use cases and when to take advantage.
Yeah, because I'm a mobile developer. I actually haven't used AWS Backup before, so if you could let me know what it's all about, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to give an introduction to AWS backup. So, AWS Backup is a fully managed policy based service that allows customers to centralize and automate backup and restore of their applications spanning 12 AWS services. Now, as a customer, you will use different AWS services to build your applications. Like for compute, you will use EC2. For block storage, you will be using EBS. For file storage, you will be using EFS. For databases, you might be using Aurora or DynamoDB. So, as an application developer, what customers used to do earlier is that they used to manage the backups of every resource individually, and they had to keep a track of the backup of every resource.
Mhm.
Customers came and told us that they want to centralize and automate the experience of creating backups across their application. And that's the reason we built AWS Backup. So now with AWS Backup, you can just create one single backup policy, and and you can assign your multiple AWS resources to that backup policy, and AWS Backup will automatically create your backups. And you can also restore your backups to a point in time in the past using AWS Backup.
Oh, that would
Yeah.
be that sounds amazing because one time in the past, I actually accidentally dropped my entire database, and yeah, having AWS Backup might have been the right choice. Okay, so I can essentially back up any data set from a specific point in the event something bad happens to my data or my content, my files, and essentially restore them.
Yes, that's correct. So
Okay,
right now we support 12 different AWS services, and we also support Windows applications on EC2. But in future, we'll be supporting even more services in our backup experience.
And just a little bit of table setting for the audience. When we think of backups, right? You mentioned before that there are a lot of manual processes here, right? Um, are there is there a different way to think of backups for our customers right now who are totally on-prem? Can they also transition to AWS backup as well?
Yeah, AWS Backup is doing a lot of work in that field also. This reInvent, we are announcing backup for VMware that is running on-prem. In future, we'll be doing a lot more in that space too.
And let's not wait any longer. What are we announcing here at reInvent?
Yeah, so we are announcing the addition of Amazon S3 to the set of supported services in AWS Backup for centralized backup and restore capability. So, this launch will allow a backup administrator to centrally manage backup and restore of their application data that is stored in S3 alone or combined with 11 other AWS services. Like as a backup administrator, you can use a single policy in AWS Backup to centrally automate the creation of backups of your S3 data, along with 11 other AWS services for compute, storage, and database. And you can restore your S3 buckets or objects to a point in time using a single click in the AWS Backup Management Console. And in addition to that, you will be able to use AWS backup dashboards to centrally monitor and track your backup and make sure that your backups are compliant. So these are some of the benefits that you will be having as a customer after this launch.
Like as a mobile developer, S3 is like one of the services that I was probably first introduced to, and I feel is like one of the most popular services that I use when working with AWS. So like hearing that backups are going to be supported, I don't know, it seems to make a lot of sense. Being able to restore any photos or videos or audio files or whatever, and be able to get those back if something bad happens, it just seems to make sense.
I had a question on scale, right? So me doing a lot of machine learning training and machine learning jobs, all of that data, a lot of that data is living in S3, right? And we're talking about lots and lots of data there. Is there any restrictions or limits for this for data for S3? What kind of scale are we talking about here for AWS backup?
Yeah, there are no hard limits. You can like back up your S3 bucket of any size using AWS backup. But having said that, if you are a customer who has a S3 bucket that is larger than 1 petabyte, we recommend that you reach out to us for additional support before you back it up. Like you can do the automatic backups for petabyte sized buckets also, but it will take a lot of time. So if you reach out to us, we'll make sure that we provide you additional resources and offer you a better experience. But apart from that, there are no other restrictions on the size.
So the red carpet treatment then. I like it. Well, I'm kind of interested. I'm hearing some pretty cool stuff, but I hear that you also have a demo for us that we can kind of like get an idea of how this works. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, let's go ahead and check that out.
Okay, let me share my screen and take you to the demo environment. And
Avinash, right before you begin the demo, I just want to let our audience know if you have any questions for anything, we have subject matter experts in the chat, can answer any of your questions. So if you think of anything, please feel free to ask that away.
yeah, sure, I'll do that. And before I introduce our viewers to the demo, let me clarify that this reInvent, we are launching a preview of S3 backup. So we will provide this preview to customers who request us for access. Few months down the line, we will make this service generally available. So right now, it will be only in the preview mode.
Getting a sneak peek, everybody.
Yeah. So let me share my screen. Yeah, can everyone see my screen?
There we go. I can see it
Looks
now.
good.
Yeah, so this is the AWS Backup Management Console. If you are using AWS Backup for the first time, this is where you will find it. You go to storage, and in storage, you will see AWS Backup. And once you go to the AWS Backup Management Console, you need to go to settings for the first time. And right now I'm in settings. You see, these are the list of resources that AWS Backup supports right now. We are announcing a preview to the addition of S3, and we also recently added DocumentDB and Neptune to our list. So as a first-time user, you need to click on Configure Resources, and you need to enable S3 here. And this is a one-time setting. Once you do this, you don't have to do this every time. And then you click on Confirm. So I am done. I'm ready to create backups of my S3 bucket. So after this, I go to a backup plan. So a backup plan is a centralized policy that allows you to create automatically create the backups of different AWS services. So if you already have a backup plan in place, you do not need to create a new backup plan. You can just assign S3 to your existing backup plan. But here I'll show you how to create the backup plan also, and then I'll assign my S3 buckets to the backup plan. So I'll click on create backup plan. There are three ways in which you can create a backup plan. You can use some of our standard templates. You can use JSON to define a backup plan, or you can build the plan using our console. So let me build a backup plan using the console. I'll call it S3 backup demo. We can give any name. So we need to give a name to the rule also. So S3 backup rule. So, and then we need to select the backup vault. So a backup vault is an encrypted centralized location where your backups are stored. And every AWS backup account has a default backup vault. You can also create new backup vault, and you encrypt your backup vault using your customer managed key or AWS managed KMS key. And all your backups will be encrypted with the same backup vault. With the same key of the backup vault. So here, I have 3 backup vault in my account. I'll select the default backup vault. And then I can select the backup frequency. So at what frequency do I want my backups to be created? And then I also have the option to enable continuous backups. So for S3, we are providing customers with 2 options. The first option is to create continuous backups, which they can use for point-in-time restore. These continuous backups are retained for 35-day period. The other option is to create periodic backups, which a customer can create at the frequency of 1 hour, 12 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. And these periodic backups are stored as long as the customer wants, and they can be stored for an indefinite period of time also. I'll pause here for any questions, Kunal and team.
One question just came to mind. We're talking about S3. Are there any restrictions on the storage classes that S3 has? And for our audience, with S3, you can store data differently based on how frequently or infrequently you use that. So if it's infrequent, you can have it set up more like an archive. Is there any issues with that for this?
Yeah, right now we do not support backup for Glacier and Deep Archive.
Okay.
Apart from that, you can create backups for S3 standard, S3 standard infrequently accessed, S3 one zone, S3 one zone infrequently accessed, S3 RRS, and also for S3 Glacier instant retrieval. You can create backups for all these storage classes. Only Glacier and Deep Archive are not supported. And another best practice that we have is that you need to turn on S3 versioning to create backups of your S3 bucket. We have kept this as a mandatory prerequisite because it's the best practice. We recommend customers to turn on versioning also, so that we can track every version that has been created and create a backup for that.
Now, Avinash, I have a question. Like, let's say that I have, a production environment and a dev environment. Could I set it up so that maybe I'm only backing up my production environment and then, like once every hour, and then maybe I'm backing up my dev environment maybe once a week or something like that?
Yes, absolutely. You can do that, and you can do that using tags. So I'll explain it now, but let me just give a quick overview of how that will work. So say this backup policy is for your production environment where you want an hourly backup. You select backup frequency as 1 hour, and later you will assign the tags that are there in your production S3 buckets to this backup policy. Similarly, you create another backup policy where you set up the frequency as 1 day or 1 month, whatever you want, and you assign the tags associated with your dev S3 buckets to that backup policy. And in that way, you can decide at what frequency you want different S3 buckets to be backed up.
That's awesome. All right, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I set up the backup frequency to be 1 hour. I'll turn on continuous backups also. And continuous backups are retained for 35 days. But say I want to create a periodic backup that I want to retain for a long time, I can do that too. I can select year and choose choose as much like 1 year, 10 year, 10 year, or anything else for retention. It depends on my data protection and data retention needs. So I'll do that, and then we'll also have the option to copy the S3 buckets to a different AWS region. This feature is not coming right now, will not be available during the preview mode. We will announce that this feature will be available later on when we do a GA, because the preview will be available only in Oregon region. So you will not be able to copy it to other regions. So that is it. We are all ready to create our backup plan. There is an additional option of selecting Windows VSS. This is for EC2 backups. Like if you have Windows Server running on EC2, we create backups for that also. So if you want your backup plan to create backups for EC2 Windows, you need to select Windows VSS. But here we are talking only about S3, so I'll not check this box. And then I'll select Create Plan. And my backup plan was successfully created, as you can see here. And then after this, I need to assign my S3 resources to the backup plan. To do that, I can click on Assign Resources here, or I can go to Backup Plans here on the left pan. And you can see this is the latest backup plan that I created, the S3 backup demo. And I'll select this backup plan. Now again, repeating what I said earlier, if you already have a backup plan in place, you do not need to create a new backup plan. You can directly move to this step, which is Assign Resources. And then to assign my resources, I have the resource assignment section here. I'll just select Assign Resources. And then I have to select a name, so I'll call it S3 assignment. I can call it anything. I can select the IAM role, which I want to use to assign resources. And then I have the option to assign all my resources. And I also have the option to assign only specific resources. Here I want to show how to assign S3. So I'll click on Include Specific Resources. And in the drop down, I'll select S3. And then the dropdown will ask me which S3 buckets do I want to assign here. The default selection is all buckets. I'll uncheck this, and I'll probably select one of my, let me select one of my snapshots, test snapshot buckets. So I can select as many buckets as I want. But as you said, as a customer, I might have thousands of S3 buckets. Like, do I need to manually select every S3 bucket? No, I don't have to manually select every S3 bucket. For such cases, I can use tags. I can assign some key value pair to my S3 bucket, and I can use the same tags here in AWS Backup. And then AWS Backup will automatically identify the S3 buckets using those tags. And I can use the same tags to identify other AWS resources also, like EC2, EBS, RDS, etc. Any questions?
No, I just really want to see how all this plays out. We only have a couple of minutes left, and I'm like super interested.
Yeah, I'll move a little bit fast. So again, S3 buckets need to have versioning enabled. You will see a small notification here when you select S3. And I'm done now. I have selected my S3 bucket. I just need to click on Assign Resources. And then I'll get a notification saying that you will be charged for assigning resources for the backups that you created. In the preview mode, there will be no charges. A customer will not be paying anything for preview, but once you do a GA, customer will start paying for the backup storage. So I'll click on Continue. And I'm all set. AWS Backup will create my backups as per the frequency that I have assigned. And I can see my backups here in the backup vault. I have 3 backup vault right now. If I go to default, you can see these are some of the backups that are already there in my backup vault. I have a bunch of S3 backups, and I have some DynamoDB backups in my backup vault. And now I will show how to restore the backup. So I'll go to my backup vault, and there are other features which I will skip through due to interest of time. Like you can go to our dashboard and you can see how many backups have been successful, how many backups have failed. Every time there is a backup failure, you get SNS notification. You can also see it through CloudWatch events. So there are a lot of other features in AWS backup, but now I'll show
And
you how to.
that's
Sorry.
great, but we are short on time. But we will have resources for you available so that you can check out all of the greatest features that are available with AWS Backup and the newly supported S3, which is going to be in preview. But thank you so much, Avinash, for showing us this really awesome demo. Can't wait to get my hands on it. But yeah, thank you for coming on.